Good morning, everybody. I'm going to use this as an example of what I use these mastermind calls for. I have been doing this for 3 years. So essentially, I want people to pick an overall goal. So, as an example, my overall goal is 15,000 listings. I'd like to have 3,000 sales a month. So, that's some North Star that you guys pick. It can be anything. It's actually probably best if your goal includes a time frame. So, how many hours a week do you want to put into it for that? So if for me, as an example, I'd like that to happen in 20 hours. So when I break down what it takes to do that, I know 3,000 listings I want to sell each month. That's 100 a day. I know that's going to take, if you have your process is really tight, it's about 10 an hour. This would include shipping, finding it. So maybe you're ordering all your inventory online. It comes, you unwrap it, move it through the process, list it, your accounting, all that stuff. If you're really fast, I would consider 10 an hour, right? So if you can do 10 an hour, even at $5 an item, that's $50 an hour. And then most of the stuff in reselling can be outsourced. Everything, even sourcing. There are people I know that have resale businesses that they work 0 hours a week in. It depends on where you set it up. So the overall goal is pick some kind of objective that you want to do each month and how much time. And the more clear that is, the easier. If you know, like, you want to spend 20 hours with your family, most people never think about that stuff. And so the most miserable people I have ever met are successful resellers that have ignored everything else. It's like I've never met more miserable people than Amazon sellers who have taken 5 years off and just driving around making as much money as possible and go back and nothing is left. So don't do that, because it doesn't take that long to become successful at reselling if you just reinvest the profit. So somehow you need to survive, but it's really awesome if you can just focus on 1 to 3 categories and get really good. Everyone can do that. I wish I had this advice when I first started, which was just get into the top 20% of whatever it is you sell and you'll be fine, because it's hard. If you get into that top 20% section, you learn tricks and tips and ways to get somewhere that are not normal. So the first thing I'd want people to do as homework is determine what your North Star is. So I don't know who everyone is. So for today, we're going to do some introductions. Um, and then let me know if you can't go, but we'll start with Ralph. Ralph, good morning. Have you already picked a primary goal for your resale business?
Good morning, everyone. No, I haven't. The only goal I have is for today. I have an issue with productivity. My day job's pretty rigorous, and the work from home has made it a little tougher. So my goal right now is to just get up 20 listings a day, and that should allow me for um, some good productivity. I got 15 up last night before I got a little bit tired, and that resulted in about $380 worth of sales. So that's just motivating me to make sure I get that 20 up each day.
That's awesome. Is it, and you're doing it after your day job?
Yeah, so my day job, when I'm out in the field, allows me to do some sourcing, like
Mm,
for a corporation. I have a region that covers 6 states. I'm in the New England area, so I live in
oh,
Connecticut.
okay.
So throughout my day, I can go visit a job site, and right near there will be a sourcing opportunity. While it's work from home, it's going to be primarily after work. Yeah.
That's awesome. There's a gentleman named Nick that I know in Minnesota that has done 15 listings a day for maybe 5 years
Wow.
with an outside sales job. So just sourcing 15 listings a day before work.
Wow.
So um, that was the way that he was able to keep that consistency without messing up his family. So 15 listings listed, shipped before work while he's out there, find 15 items or more, then go home and that's it. Very tight schedule, but that's like it's potentially sustainable because he has 3 kids, like 3 kids under
Wow.
7. So it's like really hard to do it after work. So this is great. 20 listings is a really strong habit. And then you're saying, so where do you want to be? Do you want to replace your income, or what are your ideas?
Now, I actually like having my day job. I've got a great boss. I engage with great people. Every day is extremely different, and the biggest challenge has just been filling my hours during this work from home. Uh,
Mm,
I don't have a financial goal. Like obviously, like money is fun. I'd like to have more money,
mhm,
uh, but at this point, I think it's more about just the efficiency. So getting those 20 listings up, and then I think like what I'll say is like I feel like I'm somewhere between like a bachelor's degree and a master's degree with my comfort in reselling. Um,
mm.
or excuse me, my doctorate program would be similar to what you mentioned about the fellow from Minnesota, is having my operations begin in the morning and then continuing those at night. So I don't have a dollar goal. Like I've made a pretty good amount of money here, but it's more just about productivity. In my personal life, I like efficiency, but I think that sometimes I can be a little bit lazy. I place a little too much value on doing nothing or kind of just doing whatever's in the moment. But I think for now, it's just productivity.
Awesome. Resting is doing. So, as Tim Ferriss would say, he's intense even about doing nothing. So you just gotta fully rest, which I think is important. Cool. That's awesome. I like the idea of the way that you present it is refreshing because after doing some soul searching, I don't want to not do reselling at all. For me, I still want to do it. I want to do it 4 hours a day, even because I like it. So it's
Yeah.
like something that when I've followed so many people over the years, and there's people who are very wealthy that resell all day. So I mean, they just do it because they really do love it. So it depends on what your strategy is and your why. Let's go with Hannah. Hannah, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you
Where
today?
doing great. Yourself?
Well, thank you. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. I grew up in El Cerrito, so I had seen that you were in Oakland.
Awesome. That's close.
And
Are-
I have a private tutoring business, which was all face to face and now has gone online in the last 10 days to 2 weeks. So it's definitely been a learning curve for me with Zoom and stuff. So, but I
Have,
sell on Poshmark and eBay.
okay.
I integrated eBay in the beginning of this year. And my biggest obstacle currently is sourcing. I live in a rather small town, and I'm just trying to kind of find creative ways to source now that the Goodwill outlet and Goodwills are closed. I had a couple of ideas, but I'd love to hear in the discussion at some point.
Yesterday I went to an estate sale where we're in shelter in place, so we can't there's no open houses and there's no estate sales, there's nothing. So the realtor was like, you could do like an online estate sale. I don't know how to do it, but you can't, no one can know you're here because we're not supposed to be outside. So you can drive into the garage and then do it and then order a pickup and then no one will care. But we don't want to get in trouble. And
Yeah.
yesterday as a realtor, he normally gets one listing a month. Yesterday he got 9 listings, which is
Wow.
very odd, right? He's like, this is weird because people are selling. He's like, I'm not sure if people are buying, but there are people right now that are preemptively exiting their homes, which is very interesting. So the online estate
Downside.
sale thing I think would be huge because
Okay.
the biggest thing that is involved with that is actually the removal part. So, as an example, the house I went to yesterday was 4-car garage, 2,600 square feet, completely full of junk, right? So I walked through, and the two of those 1-800 got junk places came to quote. One quote was
Mm-hmm.
$15,000. The other quote was $18,000 to just remove everything.
Everything. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, how could you resell $18,000 worth of profit? It'd be hard. It would take a long
Yeah.
time versus like 3 days, 18 grand. So I don't know what the revenue or what the expenses are. I'm assuming it's insanely expensive, the landfill stuff. So
Yeah.
if they could donate it, that would save on that cost. And if they could sort it. So I was thinking, I offered to them, maybe I can sort for you. So I don't have a truck or anything, but I know they have those giant temporary dumpsters. So potentially I could go
Mm-hmm.
through the house, move everything that's sellable in the one of the 4-car garages. 90, I think 90% of it is garbage, but But this is,
Yeah.
I think, a way that if you can become friends with realtors, I think you would never have a sourcing problem because they clear out
How did you make
houses.
that initial count? I'm sorry.
I got lucky. This person just
Oh,
contacted me on YouTube, but the way to do it is um, you need a license you need some insurance because in case you get hurt, it's not their fault.
yeah.
But if you contact realtors, especially busy ones, they'll just keep you in the Rolodex. Maybe. So I offered this gentleman. I said, let's figure out a way that I can become someone that you always use. I don't know if that requires me doing this first one for free or however it works, but I feel like that is one. I think I wouldn't. The money would be good, but I would hate the disposable part. This disposal part, but I still want to see what it
Yeah.
looks like. How can they charge that much? But I get it. They quoted 15 and a half trucks full of stuff. So it
Wow.
was mind blowing. So the three things that happened that the gentleman said is the reason why these junk crews are so awesome are divorce. Divorce causes this, death, and job
Mhm.
relocation. So he's like, if you're in the resale business right now, you should be cleaning up because job relocation is massive. So it's
Yeah.
good. It's an interesting time.
Excellent point.
So this would be pre thrift store, essentially, figuring out how
Okay.
to do this. Cool. So where are you at right now? Do you have a listing habit already?
Prior to, I've worked all the way through my death pile in the last 10 days. So
Mm.
I'm down to maybe 10 items or so. So I'm really on I just need to make some action quick. In terms of making a strategy and making those contacts.
I'd also like you to try some Facebook and Craigslist ads for what you're looking
Okay.
for. That's going to be a way to figure out what people have and explore new opportunities. Who knows? You might end up selling dental equipment if somebody has a really good supply near you. You never know.
And now when you were referencing the house, are you saying then that you would take responsibility for disposing of the items
I was
altogether?
I
Or
was at least curious to see how that works.
yeah.
So there's a gentleman who was on the call yesterday that owns one in Marin County. He has 16 or 17 trucks and was saying that it's 60% profit um, after everything. Meaning, like, if you one of those trucks charges $2,000 a day usually to go pick up stuff, the people, and in that $2,000, it's $1,200 profit after you sell everything that you can, scrap everything you can, um, dis- dispose everything. So like it's good margin, but it takes a long time. It's not like one day.
Yeah.
It's a many month process. So that's insane because it seems like a lot of revenue, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. So I want to know how it works. So I will make
Yeah.
some videos on it so we can see what it looks like.
Okay. Definitely.
Hey, Chris, a buddy and I have actually looked into that. He has a cleaning company, so he has some laborers, documented, insured, all that stuff. But one of the things I found is with those cleanup crews, they're really good at like scrubbing the whole house. Like they just pick up
Yes.
and that brick and that box all at once. What he tried to do was bring in some of his laborers who are cleaners, like legitimately commercial cleaners. You're going to want to have the right type of person, but I think there is a way to kind of put your toe in the pool on this, which is U-Haul. Obviously, you can rent your own U-Haul trucks, but they also have a division called Help Me Move or something like that, where you can hire movers that'll come in and move your boxes. When I relocated, I got bids for like 12 and 13,000, but I brought these guys in, and I think $120 an hour. And I chose a mover that was a little bit more expensive. There were guys in there for $85 an hour for a 2-person crew. But if it's a smaller job, obviously a full 2,600 square feet is going to need professionals. But if you've got something smaller, you could probably bring on 3 or 4 laborers. And, I think that rate would probably be around $300 per hour. But if you can get $1,200, for 4 hours, but you get a house full of stuff and you've got the space, we have a warehouse that we put our stuff in. But if you had the space and it was a smaller job, it might be very profitable. So might be a way to get your toe in the pool.
The realtor also suggested that the typical process is an estate sale first. They get as much capital as they can from it, and then they do the. But right now, because of shelter in place, so the online one was something he was experimenting with. So he contacted a bunch of YouTubers, storage unit people, to say like, how do we figure out this situation? It's pretty interesting. Let's go with Scott. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Thanks for joining. So where are you at? Where do you live? What do you do?
I'm in the Chicago area. I'm a student athlete at Iowa State University. Um, I started selling on eBay primarily in August of last year, just selling stuff around the house. But as I went to school, I picked up this kind of as a hobby. I've done 3,000 revenue in the last 90 days, about a
Mhm.
thousand profit. I have 110 listings, but about 35 of that is consignment for a professor. I actually TA a class, and she had a bunch of Nike golf clothes that she had me sell for her. So I take something from
Mm.
that. So I'm a little bit inflated, I guess, in my sales because it was nice stuff that's pretty easy to move. But the best period I had was listing 5 items a day of that. But now with this stuff going on, since I'm new-ish to it, I've never sourced anything online. So that'd be my main question. I saw Ralph was saying some stuff in the comments about um, sourcing online or online arbitrage, and that's kind of where my question is.
I would say, okay, here's an example of this. There's a store called Lux Swap. They do $1 million a year, 100% consignment, and they source online only, meaning they do consignment for your professor situation, but everywhere.
Okay.
So how they do that, and I'm considering trying this maybe, which is a LinkedIn model where they like actively advertise, like, hey, they're looking for people who are well to do and saying, hey, do you have a bunch of stuff that you need to sell? And people who are doing well usually do.
Right.
So they're looking for clients that are worth 7 figures, 8 figures, that need space essentially. So they can get lucky. There's essentially some is consignment, some they just end up getting it for free from people who are looking for whatever. So
Right.
you can do consignment 100% and use all of your money on photography, listing, that process. And since you're in school, that must be odd with there's no practices right now, right?
Yeah, it's very strange. I'm able to do some stuff here actually because I have access to like a private area I can get to. But yeah, now that I'm home from school, yeah, it's completely season's canceled. So
Wow. I'm sorry to hear. That's insane. I feel so bad for athletes, especially like the Olympics being canceled.
oh yeah, I can't even imagine being at that level. Like mine's a pretty high level, but that's just next stuff.
Cool. So if you take the time to set up a consignment model and think about how you want to pay people out, that is scalable to any level. It's really cool if you can figure out how to get the. For you, I would say you need an unusual storage situation. You need to somehow get space really cheap,
Hmm.
and then your process. And then if I was in your situation, I would use as little as my own money as possible. You could also help friends consign books. There's a
Yeah, I've
lot of
had
things.
had a few people reaching out to me with that, just people that I've talked to. Yeah, I'm doing some stuff on eBay and they've been interested in that. So I think that's definitely an interesting way to look at it.
It's also important for you as a young reseller to make sure you start learning Amazon, even if you don't sell on Amazon. It's important to get an ungated account. It'll be worth a lot of money later, understanding how that works. I would also, for everyone in the group, look into Amazon returns. Um, I've been trying that right now and it's mind blowing. Like, okay, I've never had stuff that sells instantly before until this. I have there's an Amazon seller that's sending me only 1,000 rank and better items. They sell within 24 hours, even on eBay. And it's also insanely high returns and a different kind of work because I'm getting 10 of something. All 10 of them are in different condition because somebody has opened it, stolen something, someone's used it for a day, someone's returned their broken one. They're like, so it's very interesting. But Amazon returns are also forever. If you're looking for stuff to sell, there are, I don't know what these people are called, but like salvage dealers that sell bulk things. And even Amazon will, they have some kind of process of what's wrong with it. So like some of the items have this red sticker on it, which I assume means there's something wrong with this. So those ones I'm opening and looking at more thoroughly, and I'm learning the process of filling out a report for people who are assholes and switch stuff out. So yeah, that part is that's probably going to open your eyes to some interesting stuff. Plus you are in one of those situations where everyone is transient. All your friends are going to be constantly moving,
Hmm.
job changes. So you're at $1,000 a month. What's your short-term goal?
What I wanted to set up for the summer was I'm at 1,000 in the last profit in the last 30 days. Oh, 1,000, yeah, revenue.
Mhm.
I wanted to get to 800 a month.
Okay. That's great. So after that, you'll just figure out how many items per week, what kind of items you'd like to sell. Also, there's a scientific term for trying different categories called it's called sampling. So I guess in your stage of reselling, you should be sampling different categories before you necessarily niche down, because who knows? And in Chicago, you have according to people that I know, the best yard sales.
Yeah, I kind of missed up on that last summer, but I'm definitely excited for it now as long as things get back to somewhat normal.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if there's such thing as an online garage sale you could help people do.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and so far, my thought on that is 60%, 40% split. And the person that is consigning, they get 40% of the top number, and you take the fees out of your 60%. That's my thinking on an online garage sale. But I think that you could go to someone's house, list everything, and come back in a week if you do it on auction. Thanks, David. That's an awesome.
Yeah, I just wrote that down.
Yeah. Let's go to Dustin. Dustin, good morning. Hopefully you can chat.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Morning. Yeah. How's it going?
Doing good. Doing good. Thanks for having me, everybody. So my name is Dustin here in Austin, Texas. Part-time reseller.
Mhm.
Been reselling for about a year now. I'm hooked on it. So during the full-time job, it allows me to get out during my lunch break to drop off USPS packages and do some sourcing. Now working from home, a little bit more flexibility, but really right now is the sourcing piece, right? Goodwills are actually still open here in Austin. Probably going to close by the end of the week. Talking to some of the store managers, but I think foresee sourcing being an issue. I've got a bit of a death pile I'm going through, which really helps right now in these times. I'm usually listing probably about 3 to 5 items a day. It's kind of the goal. So throughout the day, listing, obviously I have a day job, but I'm trying to, prep some of the items for later on in the evening to list. So during my lunch break, I'll go drop off my packages, do some sourcing if I can, and then get back to work during the day. But listing is at night. So, but that's kind of the routine right now. Yeah, garage sales was a big thing here in Austin as well.
Mhm.
That's kind of gone down the drain in the last 3 weeks or so. But yeah, right now I am really interested in the online arbitrage. Just watching a bunch of YouTube videos, trying to figure out what the best approach is. I've always been like big into Craigslist flipping and stuff like that. So I think Facebook Marketplace is probably my go-to in a lot of these cases for finding items to flip. But I've always found it a lot easier just to sell rather than buy on these marketplaces here locally. So looking into that, yeah, saw a lot of good ideas from just mentioning, for other people on the chat here. So definitely going to look to into that, a lot of the online stuff. But I think that's my biggest challenge as well, finding stuff online.
I also forgot to mention that the number one source of buying online goods and the biggest opportunity for sure is just eBay itself. eBay to Amazon is insane. That my friend Ty Blunt is he has the software LaCroix, and they have sort of they made their own tool that identifies profit margin between the two websites, and it's insane. Like he could spend 100 grand a day on stuff that he can double his money on from eBay to Amazon. But it's kind of complicated. You have to get it from eBay, figure out what it is, and then list it on Amazon. So it's not a quick process. You will run out of money if you do that thing. And also, it's very trendy in a sense that you should only be buying what is selling right now if you're going to play that model. So if you get stuck with seasonal stuff, you're kind of in trouble. So on this call, I'm going to be spending, because I do this call Monday through Friday, and on Sunday there's a heavier call with that's a little more expensive. That's only 10 people, but I'm going to be spending more time on Terapeak during these calls so we can look at trends, what's selling. As an example, Cool Pants, everybody knows if you sell clothing, KUHL is a good brand, right? But you'll find that you can online source Cool by if it's on sale, it sells the close to retail on even on eBay. And pre-owned ones sell really well. So it's an interesting idea that you could just manually look for items if it's hot enough. A pair of Cool 34 pants should sell for like 85% of retail within a week. That's really fast, and you could probably get a better than 15% discount if you shop around in Coupon Hack or whatever. And all of the largest sellers I know do that are not wholesale, they source on eBay. That's like, my friend Prince, who did 70 grand in a day last year, when he got kicked off of eBay because of too much volume. That'll also happen if you guys get to the point of 100K a month or more. You're pretty much guaranteed to be suspended, and they'll suspend you first and then ask questions later because it's so unusual. So if you sell in a hot category, and Prince found a supplier for GoPro remotes and was selling like 15 a day with like a $200 ASP with a custom accessory package, then got banned on eBay because GoPro said you can't do that. So now he can sell on eBay but not camera equipment. Switch to Newegg, and then on Newegg doesn't have those restrictions, and before they let you get traffic, they verify that your inventory is legit, which is so interesting. There's sites that actually do that. So they verify the stuff first, and that's where he did 70 grand in a day, because they figure out what people have, they make a custom deal, and they put it on the front page plus the newsletter. You can actually get to that point on eBay too. It's called eBay Daily Deals. You guys might get an email of something, but those situations are massive. Also in Austin, I think you guys have Goodwill Computer Works or something. There's like a electronics Goodwill only in Texas. That's
Yes.
insane.
Yeah.
Cool.
A lot of them are built into the store itself, but yeah, I mean, depending on what it is. Also, taking time to research. I think right now with stores closing, it's a really good time to really start doing your research on comps and trying to find those replenishables. End goal, right? I mean, finding replenishables. I've a buddy here in town, Johnny, and that's kind of what he's always focused on. And now just you make $3 a day and sell 20 of those, and but that's end goal. I think that's really what I'd like to do, is really find those replens that I can live off of, and quit that full-time job at some point.
That's right. Also, thank you, Jack, for Rasmus. I'll have you go next, Jack. But on these calls, the idea is everyone presents ideas. You pull something that you're going to use, and then that's the whole process of this. Today there's a lot more introductions, but in the future it's just going to be like, what do you want to do? What's wrong? Next. Let's go to Jack. Jack, good morning.
Okay.
Or how's Nicaragua?
What's up, everybody? Nicaragua is slowly starting to be affected by this. We still only have 2 cases, but I was just out in the street and there was like no one there, and it's a weekday, which is super weird for here. Really weird. Normally it's super crowded. A lot of people wearing masks, but aside from that, pretty much normal. We don't have anything like mandated by the government or anything.
So Jack, I use you as an example because there's a few people who've joined recently that can't work outside. Like they're for some reason they have to work at home. So it made me think of you, because that's like, you may only be able to do online arbitrage, or in your case, make digital products. So I think it's important to have people on this call that also do digital products, because it's interesting to think about something that's replenishable. Like this for me, right? This call is a replenishable income source. So everyone think about that idea. Jack, what's going on this week in the digital world?
So the big thing I'm working on in my life right now is actually creating a digital product. And this is a website. It's a membership website in Spanish, and it teaches people to earn money online. Basically, in the US, you need to be able to earn like $2,000 a month to be a self-employed person, and that won't be enough in some places. Whereas in Nicaragua, if you're earning $500 a month, you have enough money to quit your job. And like that, you're not set, you're not super rich, but if you're earning $500 for yourself, you can quit your job and work on things and improve that to be earning $1,000 or $2,000. You're next level wealthy here. Just for reference, so you guys know, my rent's around $130. I live in the capital, like 2 blocks from the president, and $130 a month. Like the cost of living in other countries is inordinately low. So I can't use things like eBay. I can't resell things the same way that you can in the US. I don't have that kind of access. But digitally wise, I can still do consulting. I can still make courses. I can still run YouTube channels. I can still do all of this kind of stuff. So right now what I'm doing is setting up the kind of MVP of the website, because ultimately I want it to be a place you can go and learn how to earn money online. Not just like one way. It doesn't just teach you drop shipping or some bullshit like that. It teaches you like the logistics of how to access your money as a foreigner. Because most of you guys, I'm assuming, are US citizens. So you actually have the easiest time in the world accessing your money online. Most people in the world have a little bit more tricks they have to do to get their money. In a lot of countries like Nicaragua, where I live, you can get a PayPal account, but you can't link that PayPal account to your Nicaraguan bank account. So you can earn money into your PayPal account, but then you can't put it into real life. You can't put it into your bank account. So you have to get another service, and there's always an answer. There's always a solution. And that's another part, is like, you have to look at the world as a place full of problems that you can fix and solve. And then you can package those solutions and present them to other people who have those problems in their lives. And that's kind of the mentality you have to have with any kind of business, no matter what you're doing, whether it's like eBay or whether you are making digital products or teaching or running a YouTube channel, whatever. There's a world full of problems, and your role is to create products that are answers to those problems, and then to connect those answers with the people who need them. No matter what business model you do, that's the mentality you have to think about, right? So there's a lot of things like that. And a lot of it, honestly, is just teaching the services that allow things to be possible. Because a lot of people here don't think it's possible. Like, they don't realize that they literally could just make a US business, or even a Chinese business. Just so you know, anyone in the world can make a US business for like $500 a year. And anyone also in the world of any country can incorporate businesses in Hong Kong and other places in China. And in China, you pay like, I don't know how, logistically, you pay like 3 or 4% income tax if you're an incorporated Chinese company. So there's a whole lot of, if you look into the world of creating businesses in foreign countries and then hiring yourself as like an employee of that business, it is insane the amount of potential and things that you can do. And that essentially extends to any person in the world, whether you're in Nicaragua or you're in Morocco or you're in Syria or you're in the United States. So this is all very interesting to me, because I don't want to just be providing information to people who have great access to jobs. I want to feel like I'm helping people who might not be able to help themselves, but then they know it's possible, and then they have a life that's hard enough that they then go through and do it, right? So right now is creating the minimum viable product for that. So essentially, I'm going to have this website that's a membership website that's teaching people this information. It costs $10 per month. And I need to be bringing traffic there. How are people going to know it exists, right? And this is done through YouTube ads in Spanish, targeted to Managua, which is the capital where I live. Managua is both the capital and also the district in Nicaragua, and it accounts for 33% of the population of the entire country in the district of Managua. So my marketing is specifically focused in this region. It's not like outside of that. One of the reasons for this is trying to get people to see my face multiple times. And even if they've just seen me in the street and they recognize me, that means I'm more trustable. I really need to work with people who have a chance that they've already seen me in some way or seen some product that I've worked with. So right now, I've said MVP a couple times. I'm trying to get the minimum amount necessary to test all this out, which is having a running YouTube ad, having a website, and bringing traffic to that website in Spanish from the YouTube ad. In the very beginning, the website is just a way to get people's email addresses and gauge how interested people are for me, because I can have this running, and while I'm making the website, I'm running ads, sending people to the more trivial version of the website that just basically teaches them some concepts, and then asks them to sign up if they want to learn more when the website's updated. So I just finished everything except actually recording the video, but I created the script and I got it proofread and I practiced it a bunch of times because I'm not fluent in Spanish. I can't speak Spanish fluently just like that. I can with English. But with enough practice, I can make it seem like I'm fluent. So I'm at that point. And I also paid for the WordPress membership, tried to transfer ownership from GoDaddy over to WordPress, which I learned is more complicated than I thought it would be. And I got halfway through and the process got canceled. Now I got to redo it because there's a couple settings I didn't do right. But aside from that, almost ready, about to start the advertising campaign on like Tuesday. So that's what I've been working on.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think everyone should take a note of this. If you get a generic product or digital product and you want to figure out how to run ads to it, you can either do organic ads, like which is just you making YouTube videos or talking about it, or paid traffic. And that's actually the second easiest way to get in the replenishables. Is you just find a product, add some marketing to it, get paid traffic to go to it, either like on a Shopify store or even your eBay listing, and you can drive traffic that way. eBay does like it very much if you drive outside traffic to your listings. They will help you gain traction because it's so hard. Because actually, most people also should realize that eBay is in the top 5 advertisers on Google. They spend millions of dollars on AdSense to get people to go to your listing. That's why when you type into Google, your listing may pop up. Let's go with David. David, good morning. Thank you for joining. I think I can maybe unmute you. I'll unmute you. Or go ahead.
All right, sorry, I was in the chat. Can you
No
guys hear me?
worries. Yep, how's it going?
Doing good. My name is David. I'm in St. Louis. I am a full-time e-commerce person. I focus mainly on Amazon. I don't touch any profits that are made from that business. I just reinvest completely. On the side, I do eBay. When I'm at the thrift stores, I focus, I'd say about 80% of my inventory on Amazon is used books and textbooks. The other 20 is retail products. So when I'm at these thrift stores, I'm looking for different products. I have a pretty good eye, I believe, specifically for like electronics. I have a lot of background in electronics and stuff. So sourcing the products right now, I'm kind of on a hold. I'm just going through the death pile like everyone else. All the Goodwills are closed. I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest. I've been doing a lot of online sourcing. The one thing that I am working on, I was about to pull the trigger on hiring a VA for listing right before all this stuff went down. So I haven't been locally sourcing too much. And so I'm kind of holding off on the VA, maybe because I'm scared to hire, or maybe because I just don't feel I have enough work for the VA quite yet. If you guys have any ideas on like hiring a VA, this is my first time hiring a VA and hiring someone, period, in my business. So I just want to make sure, I got my systems in place to where it doesn't all fall apart. And so they're able to list products to a decent, standard where it's not kind of a hack job.
I would say there's 2 VA processes that people outsource at first. One is listing, one is sourcing. You could have a VA identify opportunities for you as well if they know what your profit threshold is. Um, and I would start with a mini project like I need help on Saturday. And it's not very expensive. It's like, let's just say $7 an hour. That's an expensive VA, but um, you could just hire one for 10 hours and go through the process of what you think they're going to do. And then just keep refining that versus looking for a position is intimidating, but help
Mhm.
first, then switch over, document what it is you want them to do. They will work harder than anyone you've ever met. So you just need to get the right sequence of events. And then I like to pay 50 cents or $1 for any improvement. That is so useful because they will tell you how to do their job better. Um, I mean, it's just mind blowing to the point where they do it better than you. In my opinion, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Also, don't be afraid of VAs that already have work. I don't know if you've had that experience, Jack. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, I want you to only be dedicated to me." I don't think that's not necessary because people who are busy already know how to manage their time.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yep. So we'll come back to that conversation in just a moment, but let's get to Andrew and Rita. Andrew, good morning. Hopefully you can chat.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing great. Yourself?
Good. My name is Andrew. I'm from Connecticut. I have a 500 item eBay store. I'm on Poshmark as well. Right now, I recently bought a Macy's closeout, so I'm still very busy with that. I recently bought 3 GameStop closeouts, so I've got more than enough work through this time. So I'm just kind of trying to focus on that. And my word for the day is efficiency, because I have 2 kids, so I'm a full-time dad, as well as, which everyone who has kids knows that could be a full-time job itself, just, trying to manage that and a business. So my word for the day is efficiency. I'm just trying to get everything as streamlined as possible so I can have more time with my kids and, be better that way.
I got this email from this lady that said she wants to be a part-time mom and a full-time e-commerce person. She's like, I want to literally split it. We were going to figure out the responsibilities and I want to do half and I want him to do half. And I was like, that is so, no, you never hear that, but it's like it's a lot to do. Like there's so many responsibilities. That's awesome. Okay. So efficiency, what can you do to improve your efficiency?
Um, Mine is organization. I am completely disorganized. I'm like one of those shoot from the hip type. I run around, I don't really have a plan. So I actually started writing down in my morning, the night before, what I plan to do. And that's been helping me a little bit with, managing my time and managing what I want to get done, because, you'll say I have a million things I want to get done. And then, you get 1 or 2 of them and you say, oh, geez, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. So writing everything down has been helping me out.
What's his face? Brian Tracy says that 10 minutes of planning saves you an hour in execution. So you could spend an hour planning, but he doesn't recommend you do it all in a row because it can change. So I think like during this call, I always try to make a little mini plan, at least for the first part of the day, and then continue. But I consider organization RAM, right? If you have very little RAM, it's hard to like operate efficiently. But if you can get the organization in place, but that's easier said than done. We'll get more specific on like how you can become more organized, maybe certain spaces or time blocks, or we'll work on that in the future. Let's go to Rita. Rita, good morning. Thank you for patiently waiting.
Good morning.
Morning. What are you
My
working
first
on today?
time on video.
I know.
On YouTube, so I'm a little distracted by myself right now.
All good.
Anyway, it's great to be on the call. I think it's been about 3 weeks since I've been coming on this call, and I'm glad I had it in place before everything happened with the virus. Because now that the habit is there, and I look forward to it. I look forward to getting on the call. And I'm from Southern California. I have a dog care business, dog sitting and dog walking, and I started fooling around with eBay a couple of years ago, and now I'm getting serious about it because I want to be location independent. I don't want to be, my dog care business, I have to be here, So I made a new goal for myself. It feels very lofty, but I want to have a 2,000 item store. And I think it'll take me, with things selling and so forth, I think it'll take me about a year to get to that place if I do 50 listings a week. So that's my new goal, and I'm working on a photo booth so I can take photos anytime, day or night.
So what's one thing you could do to improve your photo booth, or that you're working on specifically with that part?
I'm trying to use things I already have around the house so I don't spend money. So I'm going to experiment with some tissue paper for the part where you're diffusing the lights.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to experiment with that, and I pulled my lights out of the storage, and I didn't even know if I was using them for flat lays, so I had them, low. So there's a thing on there so you can make them taller. So I'm glad about that. And yeah, so I have to have it done by Sunday because that's when my call with Jack has his accountability call on Sundays, and that's my goal to have it done by then. So it probably won't look very pretty, but it's, as long as it works, I don't care.
Yeah, I love these calls for accountability because I can bug you and say, why is your photo booth not done? We've been working on that for like 3 days now, right? So that's like another thing of this call is, if you show up every day with the same task, everyone will be like, why did you do that? And so it's good pressure.
Even if they don't say it, you kind of know they're thinking it.
That's right. You don't want to be that person.
No.
Let's go, Julie. Julie in Arizona. What's going on? Hopefully you can chat.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning.
I thought of you yesterday because they had an entire drawer full of linens and fabric patterns and all kind. And people were like, "Get those patterns and fabric." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just send it to Julie." I don't know how to look, because the lady sewed stuff, and then the guy was an engraver. So it was very much a maker house.
Neat.
But yeah, go ahead, Julie.
Oh, I was just going to say, I watched you yesterday. That was pretty funny. You had me laughing a lot.
Yep.
Great idea, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I am on track for 50 listings this week. I have only worked so far 2 days. So today and tomorrow I've listed half of that. And so today and tomorrow I'll finish the other half. I've timed myself when I'm doing the photographing, which, so I'm it's weighing, measuring, and photographing, and it takes me about 4 minutes, which doesn't seem very fast when I say that, but so I can improve there. I also took your advice and wrote down the exact photographs, like first a long, far distance, the whole piece, close up, folded back, those kind of things. I put the process in written form. And then I timed myself also for actually listing, which I list on eBay and Etsy, and input it on a spreadsheet. So that's my listing. And it also took me about 4 minutes.
Awesome.
So
well, now you have a baseline.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm doing them in lots of about 5. So I might make that a bigger lot, like picture 10 or 15 or 20, and then, so that might save some time also.
Awesome. And are you working in blocks of time, or how do you organize your day?
That's been a difficulty for me. I just have so many distractions at home. My daughter's home now from college. I have animals. I have, I told you before, when I was a hobby seller, I was, a housewife. And so I pretty much just did what I wanted when I wanted. So it's been hard to schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about gaining momentum, and if you can do something for an
Yeah.
hour straight, yeah, but you know this, and it's hard with that many distractions. You kind of need to wear like a hat that says "working,"
Yeah,
and then take off the hat when you go back. So maybe your dogs would
exactly.
recognize that.
Yeah. And I'm in a room with no door, so
Yep.
yeah.
Let's go, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, good morning. I know Jeffrey is at work. Some people listen to the call in the background, so that is acceptable. But normally, I want video. Jeffrey, hopefully you can chat. Oh, I need to unmute him. Let's see. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Doing all right. Are you on the road?
Yeah, yep.
So Jeffrey just bought a Dick's Sporting Goods lot. Do you want to tell us how that's going?
It went really well. I was kind of nervous on how the sporting goods were going to sell with everything going on, but I've had it pretty much got rid of it in 3 weeks, everything. The whole
Awesome.
truck. I got another truck coming in today that is all video game systems and controllers.
Cool.
So we're going to see how that goes. And today I'm working on, I got to figure out, do you remember that hot rod I bought 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
I sold that to a guy in Switzerland, so I'm trying to figure out how to export that to Switzerland right now.
That's awesome.
So I'm on my way to DMV.
Jeffrey also flips classic cars, guys. If you guys have any questions on that's a really cool category. Scott, also might be something that you consider selling sporting equipment, because certain places recycle or have new demos every year.
That's what I was thinking about actually, was baseball bats, because I'm on the track team here now, but I used to be big into baseball, so that's something I know as well. And I'm really not focused on consignment. It's just worked out that way that I've been in discussion, but someone I knew had a youth baseball bat to sell. I did that. It was actually easier than I thought to ship as well. I just watched a YouTube video on how to pack it. So that's definitely something I'm interested in, though. I guess supply and sourcing that is where I'm thinking about it right now, but baseball bats is definitely an interesting one for me.
Yeah, Jeffrey was
baseball gloves sell real well.
Really?
Yeah, especially if you know how to relace them. Because like I taught myself how to relace a baseball glove in the last 2 weeks, and I can relace the glove in about 15 minutes now. Like the broken strings, because you don't have to relace the whole thing. A lot of times you're just relacing the, the catch part of it, the webbing.
Yeah, the web, yeah.
And you can relace the webbing in about 15 minutes, and it's actually, the materials are pretty cheap, and gloves are moved really quickly for me.
It's so awesome, the different things that you can teach yourself on YouTube, like everything: how to clean a gun, how to relace a baseball mitt, baking soda has been removing every stain from my kitchen. I didn't realize how amazing it was. So it's like really cool. You can teach yourself all this stuff. But yeah, I love the idea of selling used sporting equipment, especially in high-end stuff. Not high-end, but like commercial places like golf courses, or I'm sure tennis centers have demos, right? Every year they get the newest equipment because the companies are trying to sell their newest gear. So all those relationships are key. Scott, the holy grail of that is a contract with the company. If they're like, every year all our stuff goes to Scott, that's like that, you can actually sell that company in e-commerce if you have the contract. That's huge. And then one more thought on the big consignment deals. I was buying Nordstrom returns. So like Hannah, I was thinking I was going to do eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and certain stuff sells for more money on Poshmark. So I was like, I want to get the Saks Fifth Avenue or Bloomingdale's or the nicer and wholesale lots. And those were ridiculously expensive. Like the guy was saying, it's $2 million at a time to buy a lot directly from them. So,
oh my gosh.
So what you would do is buy from one of those people that
yeah,
a lot. So it's interesting how, but then again, if you had the contract directly with Bloomingdale's, then you have something that's worth, that contract itself is worth money.
absolutely.
Also, they do like selling to people in areas that are not urban because they have a better chance of surviving because it's cheaper. So you'll notice like BHFO, all those gigantic clothing companies are like in the middle of nowhere because they got the land for super cheap and employees are cheap. Yeah, they pay 11. They have 150 employees and their average wage is $11 an hour.
Wow.
So they're not paying like that much money to run the biggest clothing store. And believe it or not, they're doing like 65 million a year or something. That's just one buyer. One lady, the owner, she buys all of this stuff to sell. It's like the buying part becomes easier as you continue. But let's go with Dustin. Dustin, good morning. I don't know if you can chat. Hopefully that's you doing the flip.
Yeah, that is me.
Awesome. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What do you do? Where do you live?
So I actually already went. Austin, Texas here, the part-time flipper. But yeah, no. So as far as I'm actually double dipping work call and this call, trying to get the best of both worlds. So excuse me.
No worries.
But yeah, so as far as like I was mentioning, Goodwills are still open throughout the week. Actually, I'm going to try to hit and take advantage of that as much as I can. Surprisingly, well, obviously there's not a lot of people out, right? So I'm usually the only shopper, maybe 2 shoppers in the store. So people are still dropping off a lot of their stuff, which is great. It's not going to last for a long time, but I'm just trying to build the inventory while I can, and then stick to the 3 to 5 a day, if not more. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Awesome. So guys, normally this call doesn't take this long, but this is a really cool opportunity to introduce and meet people. I will be doing this next week for free, but again, it's going to be it's $12 a month to join these calls all month long. It's not very expensive, but helps me continue to do this. Plus the software costs money. So appreciate you guys' time. Ideally, you would have your goal laid out for what you want to do with the amount of time you have or your financial goal, whatever, and then what you want to do today. And then I have no problem with people networking within the group. If you want to find an accountability partner to text every day or somebody in the same category, that's fantastic. Also, group buying is really interesting to me. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I think it costs about $100,000 to buy wholesale from GameStop, right? So as an example, if we're going to go in on a video game lot, listing $100,000 worth of video games would only take a couple days because it's very easy. That's something that we can consider doing as a group, more buying power. And if we don't live in the same area, maybe less competitive. And then I do want to also talk a little bit about local pickup in the future, because I think that's a good opportunity because bigger stuff is way less competitive. But harder to get into. So like the furniture I picked up yesterday, there's no one in my area selling that kind of stuff. So it should be cool. So does anybody else have any questions or thoughts before we call it a day? Normally these calls are about half an hour. No? Everyone good?